Hello, my name is Matt Smith, a Sigma Pi alumnus from the Beta Tau chapter at Valparaiso University. Most brothers all just know me as Smitty. I am very happy to be having a conversation today with past Grand Sage John Williams, who is a 2018 recipient of the Sigma Pi Founders Award. PGS Williams received a Bachelor of Arts from Rider University and went on to earn his Juris Doctorate from Widener University School of Law, and has since become a prominent lawyer with a successful private practice in Delaware. He's been an active volunteer as a chapter director of Widener University from 1983 to 2002, Ursinus College from 2005 to 2010, St. Joseph's University from 2005 to 2012, University of Delaware in 2006 to 2017, and Salisbury University since 2017. He's also served as the Mid-Atlantic Province Archon since 1983. He was elected Grand Third Counselor in 1998, Grand Second Counselor in 2000, and Grand Sage in 2002. He served as past Grand Sage in 2004, and has also served as a trustee for the Educational Foundation from 2002 to 2006. So before we dive in and talk a little bit about your fraternity experience, there's an interesting story I've heard that when you became a member, Andy Morris convinced you to become a member to save $50. Tell me about that.
I originally, when I was in college, had pledged Phi Sigma Epsilon. We did not have a Sigma Pi chapter at Rider. And I thoroughly enjoyed the Greek experience. I had served as an officer in every position, pledge educator, everything you can do. It was the Vietnam War then. So all of us did well academically, but we also had a great experience. It was kind of a wild time. I went to Woodstock and 1969 during that period, but all of us finished up, and I had a tremendous fraternity advisor, David Moskowitz, and I always said that if I ever get a chance, I'm going to pay this back. So then we go ahead, and I finished law school. I'm admitted to the bar, and I went back to my university and asked if there was a course I could teach. Of course, there was. I started teaching it, and I had about 3 young men in my class that instantly came up to me the first day and wanted me to be their fraternity advisor. So I said, "How many are you?" They said, "There's 3 of us." And of course, I was intrigued, and I remembered wanting to pay it forward. And I met with them that evening, and I said, "If you let me run it, I will be glad to do it." And they did. So I was 27, and they were 20, and I taught them what I did know about fraternities, about brotherhood, about doing well academically, about good values, about partying with the way that we should be doing it to grow into adulthood and not necessarily be wild all the time. We learned about sweethearts. We took our dormitory and I put fraternal information there. Well, about 2 years, we were about 25 people in the chapter, Phi Sigma Pi. And I said, really, we need to think about going national. Sigma Pi is a great fraternity. Let's see about that. Well, we called up. Andy Morris was the executive director. He came and visited, and he thanked me very much for my involvement in a fraternity to which I was not even a member. So we talked about it, and he informed me that Phi Sigma Epsilon had gone under in 1980. And this was like 1983. And he said, really, you're not in a fraternity now. You can either pay $50 and join Phi Sigma Kappa, which absorbed the 3 chapters of Phi Sigma Epsilon, or you could be initiated into Sigma Pi. And I said, that's what I'd like to do. So I was the beta pledge class, Epsilon Psi, myself. I also let them pledge me for a day. And I was initiated to Sigma Pi as an alumni brother. I was 33 years old, and I always just thoroughly enjoyed it. It kind of gave me the idea that now I'm part of Sigma Pi because I've lived with it for several years. And then that's kind of what happened. So I became a brother at 33 years of age. After Andy Morris told me, either you can do this or you can be initiated. Of course, my love had already started for Sigma Pi, and that's exactly what I did.
When I think about your career in the fraternity, and you've worked with, 4+ chapters, served on the board, you've done all of this, you've had a multi-decade career as a volunteer, mentor, friend to many of us, traveling around the country, out-of-pocket expense and countless hours. Was it worth it?
I would do it again, and I continue to do it. I've been very blessed. I have a very good education. I've got a great job. I'm the senior partner. Uh, I am able financially to help out my brothers. It amazes me how smart they are, uh, and that they even allow me to kind of tag along with them. And I thoroughly enjoy coming to their chapter meetings. I go to every one that I can, which is every one. I know their names. I know their families. I know what they're studying. Several are in my class. I also have at least two brothers from the University of Delaware interning in my office. And I'm very happy to say that the last six have all gone to law school. They've all passed the bar exam and various states. And it's a privilege for me to be able to see that. In fact, there are brothers of mine from Delaware that are now lawyers that I have cases against. And when we go to court and they're on one table and I'm at the other, and we respectfully argue with each other our points of law, and we leave and we go to lunch together and we talk about Sigma Pi and the times we had. But professionally, we were very, very good in a very exclusive bar, Delaware bar. We argued some corporate case, and yet we're brothers when it gets right down to it. So what a thrill. Not a lot of people have ever been able to say that's the case. I've also done it for a long time, since my 27 or 28 years old, and now I'm 74. I think that the person I really look forward and up to is the late Frank Freiberg, because I remember him being a chapter director at Franklin and Marshall when he was 91. He asked me to come up and speak with his chapter. I met him in the parking lot. He put the braces on his legs, and he struggled to walk up the incline to the chapter meeting. And I looked at that and said, these boys need him. He's 91, but what a blessing. And I always said, if I have the ability to do that, I would love to. And the same with Don Cox, carried him to his rest. And he was one also that in his 90s was a man of service. So I kind of do that unconsciously. I still think of myself as being maybe 30 years old, and I still kind of enjoy the academic part of it, but I realized it's the only reason that I'm where I am today. I had a great family, everybody helping me out, and I was just fortunate to really kind of take advantage of. Even in Sigma Pi, I was lucky to get elected many times to Grand Council positions, and I took it upon myself to want to visit, just like Grand Sage Palazzolo. I know I went to 92 schools. I think he went to 110 or 20 or whatever he did, but we're very similar in that. The essence is the undergraduates. The essence is my brothers. The essence is, what can I do to help you out, to ease your load a little bit? And that's kind of what I did the first day I started at 27. I still do it today, to this day.
So with all of the opportunities you've had and all of the different roles that you've held, what was your favorite? What was your favorite Sigma Pi job?
Being chapter director. I enjoyed in the beginning doing it when I had no positions at all. I was a young lawyer. I had hopefully good common sense. I had some good advice. We were close in age. We played racquetball together. And I kind of enjoyed mentoring the younger guys to coming up to what I had very recently done. And then when I was in the council, I kind of enjoyed wearing my Grand Council medallion and going to their chapter meetings and sitting in the middle of the room and raising my hand, and asking questions. And I know they enjoyed that. I know they always gave me 15 minutes to say whatever I wanted to say. I know they took my advice more times than not. And more times than not, maybe I was right, and things really worked out. One of the things I'd like to tell you about is one day I said, we need to do something every single year to keep us together, because we're going to be all growing up and moving and going our several ways, and we need to make it a point. What should we do, J-Dubs? I said, I think we should go skiing every year. We're going to go to a classy place. We're going to go to Killington, Vermont. We're going to get condos on the slopes. We're going to eat good food. We're going to ski together. We're going to have a chapter meeting, and we're going to remember as we get older what we do. Smitty, we've done that for 36 years.
That's amazing.
And I'm the oldest one. And I still ski the Black Diamonds. But these kids are in they're 60. And we've been friends for so many, many years. And we do get really nice condos on the slopes. And we have brothers that are now chefs that come down from Maine with lobster. And we do have a chapter meeting because we always have a couple of past officers among us. And we remember. And of course, as we grow older, we lose some to the addendum on high. We always have our memorial service in our condominium as we're raising a glass to our brothers. When I had my 70th birthday, they had a wonderful birthday party for me. And I looked around the room, and 5 of them had also been at my 30th birthday party. And I was just so blessed at that because we've grown older together. I represent a lot of them. I've been godfather for many of their children. I've been in their weddings. They come to me for advice, and I've gone to them for advice. When I lost my brother 10 years ago, they came right in, and I stayed in the fraternity house one night. They didn't want me to be alone, and they supported me. And that's the reason my family decided to have a scholarship available for the brothers at the University of Delaware in memory of my brother. He was a brother also with the College of New Jersey. I initiated my own brother when I was Grand Sage. I was 54 and he was 51. And he always wanted to be in a fraternity. And he always watched what I had done in Sigma Pi. He went to Bloomfield College. They didn't have a Greek system there. But I was so honored to initiate my own brother with my own badge. And he remained until his death. And at his passing, he had a Sigma Pi hat on, and he was so proud of that. And brothers came and paid their respects. I never forgot that. We give a $2,500 scholarship every year at Founders Day to a brother at the University of Delaware. It's the Bruce Williams Scholarship. And now I watch my brother's sons graduate and go in and become in Sigma Pi. Right now, we have Charlie Sikora, who was the sage of our chapter. His dad, Stan Sikora, whom I met at 9 years old, who's my best friend here, and I represent his business. And his brother, Greg Sikora, 10 years older. We're best friends as well. He was affiliated with Stockton. So I look at these people. One last little story. So on the 13th of December, I'm having the honor of moving the admission of Jake Perrone to the Delaware Bar Association. I met Jake when he was 18. He came in. He pledged. I watched him grow up. He worked in my office. He went to the University of North Carolina, Chapel Hill. Editor of the Law Review. Just got a job with Morris Nichols Arston Tunnel, and he just passed the bar. He called me up 2 weeks ago. J. Dubs, I passed the bar. I said, where are you right now? He said, I'm in my car. I said, I'll meet you at Banks in 10 minutes. We cried together at the bar. And we had 2 shots of whiskey, and then we went back to our office. But it was that. It was that. And I will move his admission before the Supreme Court on the 13th. If I can get the words out, it will be emotional. But, you know, Sigma Pi's done that for me. And that's what your original question is, what do you like doing the most? I like that. I've been honored to be on the Grand Council. I've been on many times. I think I was on 14 years, 7 terms. And, you know, I was opposed the first couple of times. Larry opposed me. Frank Woodbury opposed me. And I lost once, and it hurt my feelings because I thought I did a great job. And why are you opposing me? But nonetheless, once I got entrenched in it, my only campaign platform was, you know who I am. If you like me, you vote for me. And if you don't, don't. And I will support whatever your decision is going to be. That worked for me every single time. I never had a banner. I never had a poster. Not that you can't do that today, but I think people do respond when you care about it. And I just kind of did what was natural to me. And I kind of enjoyed it too. I enjoyed traveling as I did. I would go every 2 weeks to a different chapter in the United States. And I would call them up and I'd say, do you mind if I come next week? Did we do anything wrong? No, you didn't. I would just like to visit Southwest Missouri State. How come? I don't know. I've never been there. I want to see. I said, what do you do? We drink beer and we play volleyball. They said, well, that's fine with me. And I had a wonderful time. And, you know, I spent a week in California and I went to whatever chapters we have from Cal State Chico and Sacramento all the way down to UCLA. Even if it's just walking in the house and saying hello and introducing myself, I enjoyed the California surfer dudes. I enjoyed the Bible Belt. I enjoyed the Deep South, Auburn, and all of that. In Canada, I enjoyed the Tundra Bowl, playing football at 10 below zero with milk, with hot chocolate. All of that just enriched me so much. But then I still came back to my chapter meetings, Widener, EUD, sitting in the back of the room, and just thinking to myself how blessed I've been with this and that I do have the ability to do it. Last Sunday, I gave my Know Your Rights presentation to Theta Chi at the University of Delaware. They had heard about it. Their president called me up. I went there. Our chapter was in the next room as theirs. And I said, how long would you like me to go for? Oh, as long as you want, but no more than 45 minutes. I said, okay. Well, I think it went 55 minutes. They clapped. They said, you were the best one we had. I said, you know what? If I can help you out, I know a lot about Greek things, about officer training, about a lot of things, and hazing and mental health awareness. Please call me. I'd be very glad to help you. And you know, those brothers called up my Sigma Pi brothers and said, you know what your chapter advisor just did? He volunteered to help us. Of course.
So tell me, what was your experience like being recognized and being presented with one of the 2018 Founders Awards?
It was a very interesting experience, one like I'd not had in Sigma Pi before. I always enjoyed coming to the events. I always enjoyed presenting at the events. When I was elected to the Grand Council, I always enjoyed that. I always enjoyed doing the work of the council, having everybody on the council all had great experiences, all successfully in business and where they are. And we made decisions quickly, and I loved it. We hugged each other. I thoroughly enjoyed that. And I've given several Founders Awards out over the years. I've participated. I've heard the discussions. I've heard criteria for it. I have voted for various people that had won that award. Honestly, I never looked at myself in that kind of situation. We had given those awards to astronauts, to bishops, to judges, to senators, to governors, to people who were very generous and contributed great sums. And I never really looked at myself kind of traveling in those circles. And I went to the February meeting in 2018, you know, just as I normally do when I was driving back to the airport, and I got a call from Steve Lawler, Grand Sage. He said, John, I want to tell you that you've been selected to receive a Founders Award. My reaction, me? What did I do? He said, John, you've done it all. And he said, you were the only one that's going to get it this time. And I think our discussion was for 2 minutes and you unanimously got it. I couldn't believe it, honestly. I didn't know how to react to it. I knew there was a lot of people that admire that award and that would be very grateful to get it. And I thought, oh, I'm so grateful, but am I worthy of this? And I really struggled with that a little bit. I really did. So as kind of time went on, I had to get a picture done. So I did that. And Steve Lawler said, now I want you to be prepared to make a nice speech. And I'm thinking, what, a 5-minute speech? Thank you very much. I appreciate it. He goes, oh, no. He said, you need to make a substantial kind of remarks. And I said, okay. And I realized how many come to it. And I realized how many would be in the audience that I cared so much about, like you, that you would travel all night just to be there for me with 7 children. Wow. I prepared my remarks. I triple spaced it. I went over it 100 times. I teach. I also am a trial lawyer, so I am used to being on my feet, but this was different. And I prepared everything that I did, included everything, and I was pleased with it. Came to the convocation, went up on the stage, and I'm waiting for Steve to kind of introduce me. And the next thing I know, he basically said, well, there's nothing further to say. Here he is. And I went, what? All of a sudden, I went up, I had my speech there, and you know, I said, this is coming right from my heart. And I did. And people responded where I wanted that to happen in times that were just wonderful. They appreciated it. And we had some difficult times. About 8 years ago, in our chapter, we had about 3 suicides, which just drastically changed the atmosphere for a couple of years. And even dealing with those kinds of things, which now we're dealing with, unfortunately, more and more. How do we deal with those things? But anyway, I made my remarks. I put that red ribbon and I said, is this you? In any event, I am so appreciative of it. I respect it. I respect the people that got it before me. Think of, Scotty Reston, and I think of, Tony Cyrus and some of the people that are distinguished. And to be thought of like that, it's an honor. And I'm always going to be humble about it. And I'm always going to be gracious because it was very generous for me to get something like that. I always wear my past Grand Sage medallion to my chapter meetings. I'm a ritual guy. I like the undergraduates to see that. I make them wear theirs, and they see the difference of theirs and mine, showing that Sigma Pi is a lifetime thing, not just when you're an undergraduate. And on Founders Day, when I give my brother's scholarship out, of course, I wear that Founders ribbon, and I am privileged to go to some other chapters. I've given Bruce's scholarship out to other chapters as well. When we had difficulty at Delaware, when we lost our charter and were suspended for some noise violations and issues which have now clearly been overcome, I had to give that scholarship somewhere. And I kind of divided it up, and I gave part to Salisbury and part to St. Joe's and part to Ursinus, because it was just so important for me to do it. And we give the cash award, and we give a nice trophy, and we give a nice plaque. And you know what the beautiful thing is? I've gotten calls from those people, one in particular from Salisbury. And he's in medical school. And he said, John, I can't tell you how much I appreciated Bruce's scholarship. I said, Nathan, it was only $1,000. And I said, you're in medical school. You're spending hundreds of thousands of dollars. That doesn't make any difference. I look at Bruce's trophy and his plaque, and it inspires me. And of course, I get a big chill when I hear that. When I give Bruce's award out, I feel warm about it, and it's in my will. I'm going to make sure that those things happen, that people are appreciated. I've thought about a lot of times the Educational Foundation, and with all due respect, when I'm very wealthy, I will give more to that for that purpose. But I want to give a little more than $100 and $200 as a scholarship. I want to give significant monies so that it makes a difference in their tuition and a difference in really what they need to do. One award I gave out, the first one, I got a call from the boy's father. He said, I understand my son got an award from your brother. How come? And I described to him, I said, your son, very much like my brother, he was the unanimous decision of the brothers to get that. Father started getting emotional on the phone. He said, I lost my job today. This could not have come at a better time. So my brother was acting, in his best brotherly interest even at that time. So I don't know, getting back originally to the founders, I still question whether or not I'm deserving of it, but I'm so appreciative of it. I'm going to show you also my wall and in my office, and you can see this. But I kind of start out with my brothers right up here. This is when we got our charter back. We were in the Deer Park. And then that was my Christmas present that they gave us. And then we moved over here. This is when I became Grand Sage 20 years ago with Alan DeSantis and the Sigma Pi brothers that came. Then we have over here, this is my shingle. This is when I was past Grand Sage. And that's my Founders Award. And I'm also an honorary brother at the University of Georgia, Alpha Phi, and just all that really good stuff. So I'm so proud of that. I bring people in to look at that, and I am proud. I'm proud because we had an organization that took someone like me in and gave me some opportunities, and I took advantage of the opportunities. I realized that it was going to be a sacrifice, but I would do it over and over again. It is so worth it. When I became Grand Sage and thought that I wanted to visit chapters, I called my law partners in, the whole office. And I said, I'm taking no vacation for 2 years. This is what I would like to do. Any problem with that? No. And that's what I did. One of my clients that I got a disability for, I said, I'll tell you what, if you pick me up at my house and drive me to the airport, and then when I get back, pick me up at the airport and drive me home, I'll give you $25 each time. He happened to be also a chef. So every time he picked me up, he always baked something, had coffee for me on the way to the Philadelphia airport and picked me up the same way. So it worked very, very nicely. Talking about expenses and so on, I always took pleasure in, never wanting to get reimbursed for things. I was able to do it myself. And I also realized that if I'm going to go visit chapters, I'm sure Palazzolo did the same thing, it is going to be out of your pocket. I probably spent $25,000 each year when I was Grand Sage on plane tickets and cars and hotels. And I would take the officers out for dinner and I'd make a contribution to their chapter before I left. So I don't know. It was just a natural thing to me to do that. And again, I was able to do it. I have many, many nice notes from brothers that took the time to tell me how much they appreciated things that we did. And I missed it so much. I missed that, but I also realized that, you know what? I was blessed to do it. And now it's somebody else's chance. And they need that same opportunity that I had. When I went to Don Cox's funeral, we did the memorial service in the funeral home. We had our Sigma Pi flag close to his body. And we had 4 past Grand Sages that participated in that particular ritual. And we had a woman in the audience. And when we sang the fireside song, she stood up and she sang it. She was the Sigma Pi sweetheart at Temple, 1953. And she remembered the fireside song. She stood it up and sang it with Don. It was just so moving. There's just so many things like that you see that are so enhancing. Gary Tash, first time I met him was my first convocation in 1984. And I was a brand new lawyer. He was a judge. And I'm looking at him and the way he is having the convocation in the palm of his hand and the good stuff that he did. As I grew to know him better, I looked on him for advice. He was a lawyer's lawyer. And when I was Grand Sage, many times I called up and I said, Gary, help me out. And he graciously did, as did many people. Hitch and Mick Litch and all those people did. And that's, again, another blessing of Sigma Pi. When you look at someone that you trust, someone that you know is competent, someone that, again, is your brother, and you speak with him, life's a lot easier that way.
What would you offer, a short piece of advice to young brothers or a young alumnus that's just now embarking on their post-college Sigma Pi career?
I think that if you want to pay back, I think you have to realize that the undergraduates are always watching. They're watching what you're doing. They're watching the way you conduct yourself. They're watching the way you make decisions. They're watching if you're respectful. They're watching so many things that are in their minds. And then the next time that you meet with them and the time after, you begin to build that relationship so that you do become more effective. And then it's kind of a very simple thing. I always was kind of available to do things that were kind of a leadership situation. But I also realized the work that I was going to involve in. And I realized that if you're going to do this, you make the sacrifice and that you do. You've got to do it not because you want someone to pat you on the back, because there's a lot of people in Sigma Pi that do an awful lot of great things. You have to be humble. And I think that people always do the right thing. When we have elections, I've spoken for many of the candidates, but I watch the way the undergraduates look and observe those that they're going to vote for. And they always seem to make the right decisions. It's just a beautiful thing. So I think that if you want to do it, you have to be completely unselfish about it. You have to be willing to sometimes go into your pocket and help them, because there's a lot of demands in college today financially. I have a lot of kids working in my office. We have a shredding event we're doing on Saturday. I'll give each brother $100 and lunch, and we come in and we make 3 or 4 trips 3 miles away to the shredder and get rid of some of my old files. Puts a little spending money in their pocket. I'm thrilled to death to do it, and it shows them that I care about them. Tonight, we're doing tonight. 3 brothers just turned 21, so we are going to the casino, and we're going to play blackjack together at the table. And I'm going to give them each $50 in chips, and we're going to play blackjack. And I just think that's so significant.
John, thank you for this opportunity to share your experience with us as a Founders Award recipient and as just a true Sigma Pi in every sense of the word. It's been wonderful to have known you since I think I was an initiate for about 4 hot months when I first met you. So it's been great to have known you all these years. For all those watching, thank you for tuning into this conversation. The Founders Award is given out by Sigma Pi since 1962 to our most outstanding alumni brothers. And the presentation is each biennium at our convocation. I look forward to seeing many people to celebrate our next Founders Award recipients in Indianapolis this coming summer, and look forward to seeing many applications. The application is live on the Sigma Pi website. You may self-nominate or you may nominate other brothers for exceptional service in business, profession, education, humanitarian, service to the fraternity system as a whole, or other contributions that are exemplary and praiseworthy examples of the kind of people, the kind of brothers that we want all of Sigma Pi to be. So thank you again, John, for taking the time to talk with me. And I'm sure I'll talk to you before then, but I'll definitely see you in Indianapolis.
Thank you so much. I appreciate it. Thank you.